What if the Bible isn't just a random library of disconnected stories, poems, and letters? Seriously, what if, from page 1 all the way to the end, it's actually unrolling a single, massive architectural blueprint? Okay, let's dive into this idea because according to the scholar G.K. Beale, that's exactly what's happening. We're going to look at the whole Bible as one unified construction project. So, that really gets us to the main question for this whole explainer, right? Are we just looking at a kind of religious scrapbook? Or is there a master plan, what Beale calls the temple expansion mandate, that's driving the whole narrative from Genesis all the way to Revelation? Well, let's find out. All right, so to really get this blueprint, we first have to figure out our role in it. And it all starts with this pretty radical idea about what it even means to be human, to be the king's living statue right here on earth. To get a grip on our role, we have to look at this Hebrew word, tselem. It means image. Now, back in the ancient world, when a king conquered some new territory, he'd set up a statue of himself at Tselem to basically say, I rule here. It wasn't just a picture. It was like the king's presence was right there. Well, God does the same thing, but his statue isn't carved out of stone. It's us. You see, we aren't just made in his image. We are the living, breathing image designed to represent his rule. So where does a king put his brand new living statue? Well, in his royal residence, of course. And the Bible's first location for this isn't just some nice park. It's the original construction site, the Garden of Eden. And it turns out it was the very first temple. And the connection here is just, it's incredibly specific. You look at the design specs for the garden, the entrance is on the east, there are precious stones everywhere, God himself is walking around, and it's a direct match for the later tabernacle and temple. And get this, Adam's job description in Genesis, to work and keep the garden, uses the exact same Hebrew words, abad and shamar, that are later used to describe what the priests do in the temple. So the takeaway is huge. Eden was the prototype temple, and Adam was its first royal priest. And Adam's job was way more than just landscaping. This command was really an architectural directive. Think about it. The garden was this small patch of perfect, ordered, templed space. The rest of the world? It was chaotic, untempled. Adam's mission was to multiply his family of living statues and literally push the borders of the garden out and out and out until the entire planet became God's dwelling place. But as we all know, he failed. Now, after that massive failure, you might think the whole blueprint got scrapped, but nope. Instead, God put a series of architectural placeholders into motion. These were temporary, physical structures designed to be reminders of the ultimate goal, to keep the vision of a cosmic temple alive in a broken world. First up, we get the Tabernacle. And you've got to understand, this wasn't just a tent. It was a portable Eden, kind of like a mobile sanitization unit, creating this little patch of pure air in the middle of the desert. And every single detail was a callback. The menorah? That's a stylized tree of life. The curtains had the same cherubim guards from Eden embroidered on them. And yep, the entrance was on the east. It was literally a mobile blueprint. Okay, now this is where we see the sacred geometry of the whole project kick in. The Holy of Holies, the most sacred space, was always a perfect cube. In the tabernacle, it starts as this small 10 by 10 by 10 cubit seed. Then in Solomon's temple, it doubles to 20 by 20 by 20. This wasn't just a simple upgrade. It was a physical demonstration that God's presence was always intended to expand, its footprint on earth. But there was a problem, a pretty big one, with these incredible stone structures. They were static. A fixed temple stuck in Jerusalem can't possibly fulfill a global expansion mandate. It's just stuck. For the garden to truly cover the whole earth, the blueprint had to evolve. The temple had to go from being made of stone to something that could multiply and move all over the planet. And this, right here, leads to the most radical plot twist in the entire architectural story. The blueprint gets this massive update, shifting from inanimate stone to living, breathing flesh. This statement from Jesus is the absolute hinge point of the whole story. He wasn't talking about the physical building made of stone, no way. He was declaring that he was the new temple. He was the perfect, living, walking, breathing overlap of heaven and earth. The blueprint had just become mobile again. So the crucial point here is this epic temple overwrite. The old model, it's made of stone and gold, and it's fixed in one city.
But the new model, the Ekklesia, or the church, it's made of people, living stones, as the apostles call them. It's global, it's distributed, and most importantly, it can finally fulfill that expansion mandate because it grows every single time a new person becomes a part of it.
So what does the finished project even look like? Well, the final pages of the blueprint reveal a structure on a scale that is almost impossible for us to imagine: the completion of the global garden, which is now grown into a massive city.
Okay, get ready for this. The New Jerusalem, as it's described in Revelation, is a perfect cube. But its dimensions, they are just staggering. It's 1,400 miles long, 1,400 miles wide, and 1,400 miles high. That is a cube that would stretch from Maine all the way down to Florida and would reach way, way up into outer space. We are talking about architecture on a cosmic scale.
So what's the logic behind a cube this massive? It's actually brilliant. The city is so vast it can no longer contain a temple. Instead, the entire city has become the temple. That sacred space that was once a tiny, veiled-off room, the Holy of Holies, has now expanded to become the very atmosphere of the entire new world. And this right here, this is the ultimate reveal. This is the moment the architect lays down the final blueprint. There's no temple building in the city because the mission is finally complete. The barrier is gone. The dwelling place of God has finally and fully merged with the dwelling place of humanity. Susie, from a garden to a tabernacle to a temple to a person to a people and finally to a cosmic city. It's all one continuous building project. So the final question isn't just a theological one, it's deeply personal. If you are a living stone in this cosmic temple, what territory are you building on today? What part of the world are you expanding the garden into?